Okay, let's talk about that feeling. You know, when you had this big, comforting bowl of something like rice porridge, congee maybe, or even some quick instant oats,
Oh, yeah.
you feel amazing, warm, totally satisfied, and then, like, maybe 45 minutes later, your stomach is just screaming at you. If that's happened to you, well, you're definitely not alone.
It's incredibly common, actually. And we tend to blame ourselves, right? Thinking, oh, I didn't eat a big enough portion or maybe not enough calories.
Exactly.
But the sources we're looking at today, specifically this analysis in Notes on Dieting, they make it really clear this isn't about willpower. It's not about calories, not really. It's biology. It's a chemical reaction happening because of how that food is prepared.
Right, okay, this sounds fascinating. So let's get into it. This deep dive is all about what the sources are calling the Congee paradox.
Hmm.
How can this food that feels so gentle, so easy to digest,
Oh.
also make you incredibly hungry super fast?
Mm.
So our mission today is to really unpack the science. We need to understand this thing called starch gelatinization and how it connects to the glycemic index.
Yeah, and if you want the short version of why that congee leaves you feeling empty so soon, it boils down to speed, how fast your body converts those starches into sugar, into glucose.
Will be, okay.
And if we want to fix that hunger crash that follows, we first have to understand what the cooking process actually does to the rice.
Okay, let's start with the basics then. What exactly is congee, for anyone who might not know?
Sure. So congee is basically rice that's been boiled for a really long time, sometimes hours, yeah, with a lot of water, until it just breaks down and gets really thick and soft, almost like a paste.
And it's famous for being easy to digest, right? That's why people often have it when they're sick. Or give it to little kids. Your system barely has to work.
Exactly. That ease of digestion, though, that's where the paradox comes in. Because while you feel full for a minute from all that volume, that feeling disappears really fast. Hunger comes back quickly. And the main scientific reason, according to these notes, is that congee has an extremely high glycemic index, the GI.
Okay, GI. Quick refresher for everyone. That's about how fast a food raises your blood sugar, right? Low GI is slow and steady. High GI is like a rocket ship.
That's a perfect way to put it, yeah. Slow burn versus a huge spike.
So where does congee sit?
It's definitely in the spike zone, like way up there. We're talking a GI of 70 or even higher, usually.
Wow, okay. So that's similar to things like white bread, maybe, or sugary drinks.
Exactly. In terms of that immediate blood sugar hit, yes. But here's the really interesting part. That high GI isn't built into the rice grain itself. It's basically created by how we cook it.
Wait, hang on. So it's not the carb itself. It's the process, what we do to it. That sounds more like chemistry than just, diet stuff.
It is chemistry, absolutely. To really get it, you have to picture what happens during that long cooking time. In a raw grain of rice, the starches are packed together really tightly. Think of them like super tightly wound balls of yarn.
Okay, tightly wound yarn. Got it.
Your digestive enzymes, they have to work pretty hard to unravel that yarn to get at the good stuff inside.
Makes sense.
But when you boil that rice for ages with all that heat and water, those tight structures, those starch granules, they absorb water, they swell up massively, and they basically burst open. They lose their structure. This whole transformation, that is gelatinization.
Ah, okay, gelatinization. The structure breaks down.
Completely. It's like the yarn has been totally unwound and laid out flat.
So if it's all laid out, exposed,
Yeah.
it must be way easier for our digestive system to get at it, right?
Yeah.
Which enzyme does the heavy lifting here?
The main one is amylase. Its whole job is breaking down starch into simple sugars, mostly glucose. And because of gelatinization, amylase doesn't have to fight with that tight structure anymore. It's like an open buffet. It can access all the starch really, really easily and quickly.
An open buffet.
Okay.
That sounds like it could cause a rush. If the breakdown is that fast and easy, the glucose must hit the bloodstream super quickly too, all at once.
Precisely. You get this huge, rapid dump of glucose into your blood. It's a massive spike. Your body senses this sudden flood of energy and basically goes into emergency mode.
Emergency mode. What does it do?
It pumps out insulin, loads of it. Insulin's job is to get that glucose out of the bloodstream and into your cells for energy or storage.
Okay, so insulin rushes in to clear out all that sugar. But is that cleanup job what causes the problem? The hunger afterwards?
That's exactly it. The insulin is super effective, maybe too effective because the spike was so sharp. It clears the glucose out very, very quickly. And often it overshoots.
Overshoots.
Yeah, it pulls too much sugar out of the blood too fast. So your blood sugar level doesn't just go back to normal, it actually dips below normal pretty rapidly. That's the crash. the infamous blood sugar crash.
Ah, the crash. Okay, that's the key moment then.
It really is. Because when your blood sugar suddenly tanks like that, your body perceives it as, whoa, fuel source disappearing fast. It's a scarcity signal, and that triggers those primal hunger hormones.
So you feel starving again, even though you might have eaten a pretty big bowl of congee just a little while ago. It's not about the calories you ate, but how fast the sugar disappeared.
Exactly. It's about the rate of change, the speed of that crash, not the total amount of energy you consumed initially. Understanding that difference is huge.
Yeah, that really shifts things.
Mm.
And the sources mentioned this isn't just about congee, right? This same spike and crash happens with other processed starches.
Oh, absolutely. Think about things like instant ramen noodles or those quick cook instant oatmeal packets.
Right, the ones that cook in like a minute.
Yeah, they're designed for speed, which usually means they've been pre-cooked or heavily processed in some way. Basically, they're already partially or fully gelatinized before they even hit your bowl. The principle is the same. Easy access starch means rapid digestion, big spike, big crash, and then hunger.
Okay, so we've pinpointed the problem, this rapid digestion, because of gelatinization. But, sometimes you want that comforting soft food, especially if you're sick or something. So what can we actually do? What practical tips do the sources give to slow things down and keep blood sugar more stable?
Right. We need to build some speed bumps into the meal. The notes lay out two main strategies. The first one is about tweaking the base itself.
Okay, strategy 1, change the base. How?
Well, the simplest step is just portion control. Less congee means less glucose hitting your system all at once.
Makes sense. But what if you want that nice, big, comforting bowl?
Then you look at changing the type of grain. Instead of polished white rice for congee, maybe use brown rice. It has more fiber, takes longer to break down. Or for porridge, instead of instant or rolled oats, use steel-cut oats.
Steel-cut oats. Those are the really chewy ones, right? They take longer to cook?
Exactly. They're much less processed. The structure is way more intact. So your amylase enzyme has to work much, much harder, slowing everything down naturally.
Okay, that makes total sense. The structure itself is a speed bump. So what's strategy 2? You said it was more fun.
Well, maybe. Strategy 2 is all about adding what we can call slowing agents. Things that physically slow down digestion.
Slowing agents. Like what?
We're talking about the other macronutrients, protein, fat, and fiber. These guys are crucial. When you add them to your high GI congee or oats, they essentially create like a traffic jam in your stomach.
A traffic jam. How does that work?
They mix with the gelatinized starch, forming this kind of matrix. It means the starch gets released into your small intestine and then into your bloodstream much more gradually. It smooths out that spike.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical for people listening. Let's talk specifics. What kind of additions actually work? Let's start with protein, since that's often talked about for satiety.
Protein is great because it takes your body a while to digest it. For congee, you could add things like shredded chicken, some fish slices, or even just whisk in an egg towards the end of cooking.
Okay, and for oats?
For oats, maybe a scoop of protein powder if you use it, or Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, nuts, seeds, even peanut butter adds a good protein hit.
Got it. What about fats and fibers? You mentioned them too.
Yeah, they're super important. Fats slow down how quickly food leaves your stomach. Fiber adds bulk that your digestive system just can't rush through, and it can also sort of physically block the enzymes from getting to the starch too quickly.
So for congee, what would that look like, adding fat and fiber?
You could stir in some chopped nuts or seeds, like peanuts or sesame seeds. The drizzle of sesame oil is traditional and adds healthy fat. You could also cook vegetables right into it. Think mushrooms, maybe some finely chopped greens or carrots. Those add fiber.
Okay, so let me see if I've got this right. If I took my bowl of, say, plain white rice congee, which we know is high GI, but I added a boiled egg for protein and maybe a tablespoon of chia seeds for fiber and some healthy fat, that would actually make a big difference to the blood sugar response, even without changing the rice.
A huge difference, absolutely. You've basically changed the meal's entire metabolic effect. It's not just an instant sugar hit anymore. You've added the components needed to slow down digestion and absorption, leading to more sustained energy and less chance of that awful crash.
Wow. Okay, so the big takeaway here really is that hungry feeling after certain comfort foods, it's not necessarily about calories, it's about the speed. The cooking makes the starch super accessible. That's gelatinization, which leads to the fast spike and crash.
Exactly. It's all about the rate of digestion and absorption. And the good news is you can control that rate by being smart about what you add to those high GI bases. Adding protein, fat, and fiber essentially puts the brakes on.
It turns a potential problem into something much more balanced.
Precisely. You override the quick-release nature of the starch.
Okay, so here's something to chew on, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Now that you understand this connection cooking method, gelatinization, spike, crash, think about where else this applies in your diet. How could you use these same strategies, adding protein and fats, to stabilize other high GI foods you eat? Maybe things like white pasta, mashed potatoes, even some breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
The lesson from the Congee paradox, it definitely goes way beyond just that one bowl of rice porridge.